Hey, what's up guys? It's the same old G, and this is a video response to FaunTrodden. So it is not really a video response as much as a topic, just a thing that he wanted me to talk about on Facebook. You know, we had this conversation in some comment sections, and I was asking, you know, if there is something you'd like to hear about RPG, what would it be? You know, do you have something you want me to talk about? And so he asked me this question, which was kind of hard for me to understand. So that's why it took some time for me to get back at you. But there you go, you got this. So what he wanted to hear is this is how I can formulate the question, because it's not an easy question to formulate, but it's how one gets knowledgeable about game theory and game design. And you know, so how one gets literate about that, you know. So how do you go from being an average RPG Joe to become an RPG connoisseur or knowledgeable, you know, RPG knowledgeable about game theory, game design? So how you go from one to the other? How do you make that switch? You know, how do you make that step? So I'm not gonna give you any recipe. I don't know. I don't think I can tell you about that. You know, I don't think I can tell you, because I'm not that knowledgeable or that literate about game design or whatever. I'm just another passionate individual who likes this hobby. But here's how I see this. So what I'm gonna do in this video is I'm gonna tell you how I did. You know, what's my path toward game theory and game design, because I do love game theory and game design. I've been interested in that really quick in this hobby, really fast. I went from just asking questions and vlogging about RPG in general to become way more interested in game theory and game design than just gaming. You know, it's not just about having fun, right? So I'm gonna share my story, my path, and I'm gonna make an analysis from it to try to answer your question. So there you go. Let's take the average RPG gamer. Let's not use this example starting from someone who doesn't know shit about RPG. Let's start with someone who knows about RPG. So what is an average RPG gamer? To me, it would be someone who has been gaming a little bit, right? So he's played a little bit of Pathfinder, he's played a little bit of D&D, he's played a little bit of the World of Darkness, he's played a little bit of Shadowrun, maybe a little bit of Dungeon World, and a little bit of Fiasco, a little bit of Apocalypse World. He's played a little bit of OSR, maybe some Lamentation of the Flame Princess, DCC kind of thing, right? He's been flirting with different games and gaming a little bit. Now, doesn't matter how long. He can have, you know, he can have done all that in maybe like 2 or 3 years, maybe 10, maybe 25. Right? Because when we listen to people vlogging about RPG, I mean, when you play a lot and you go around, doesn't matter how long you've been playing. Some dudes has been playing for 25 years and they don't know shit about game theory. They don't know shit about game design either. They're not interested. They wanna have fun. They want to game. So they don't necessarily ask questions. They don't necessarily, you know, go around the block to understand gaming better. That, you know, so doesn't matter how long. What matters is the fact that they played a little bit different kind of games. So let's start from there. So to me, that's where it starts. So the average RPG gamer is, in my definition for this purpose of this video, that's what it is. Now, how do you go from playing these games to being more knowledgeable about game theory and game design? How do you do that? Well, to me, it started with vlogging. Now, I'm not saying that everybody should vlog, but I'm saying that someone who wants to make that step should watch some videos over YouTube. Should start listening to what people have to say about RPGs. I mean, now you don't watch anything. I watch a couple of videos about game theory and game design. I'm gonna. So what I did that changed my perspective of that is Emergent Play. You need to watch Emergent Play's channel. I think it's 41 or 42 videos. You know, someone who wants to get to know about game theory and game design needs to watch these 40-something capsules, like little snippets. It's like 5 minutes, 6 minutes a video. This is where it started for me, at least a little bit. Then I had to get back again because it was too early for me to understand. But so this playlist is major. It's on YouTube. It's for everybody. Then listen to Game Geeks. Not Game Geeks. Sorry, Geek Night. The one you don't want to listen to is Game Geek. Don't listen to Game Geek is like, well, no, Geek Nights. Geek Nights is Rimcaster and another guy named Scott. I don't know his family name, but Geek Nights. I'm gonna put links in the description. They have a playlist on their channel, and it's called game design or game theory or mechanism design, something like that. And it's a playlist of their lecture they did at PAX. And this blew me away. This blew me away. The most important video on that playlist to me is Beyond Dungeons and Dragons. So this one, don't mind the title. The title is not saying that Dungeons and Dragons is bad. It's just telling you the difference between the different designs in RPGs, allowing you to understand that different designs means different experience, and from there your mind kind of open up a little bit and you understand that, oh my god, there is something else I can feel as a feeling when I play RPGs, right? So yeah, so the Geek Nights playlist and Emergent Play channel, watch these videos. And then you go to Adam Koebel, and Adam Koebel, you have Hack Attack playlist, tells you about game design, how you hack, teaches you how to hack. And when you start going in that direction, the direction of hacking, you start to manipulate the game a little bit. So that helps. So that is something that is in terms of if you want to do pragmatic work, I'll start from there. Then when you start open up about rules, because the big part of game theory is rule. We don't care about settings. In game theory, settings is fluff. You don't care about fluff. All you want is rules. And then when you start to love rules, if you want to get into game theory and game design, you need to love rules. You need to stop making house rules and shit like that. You need to get the game and play it raw. Start to play the game raw, and actually embrace the rules, even the rules you don't like, and trying to understand why the designer, what was the intention, and going from having fun because fun is kind of easy. Fun is the social part, right? You get that out of the equation, and then you start to work. That's where you make that switch. So at this point, what you do is that you start to approach RPG as a question, as an interest, as an intention, instead of an experience of fun with friends. So at this point, when you open up to game design, you start to love rules, you start reading. Now you need to read. So what you do now is you go to Runeslinger's channel and you buy books. You buy a whole lot, ton of books. You get books. You go online, you get some PDFs, you get some books, get the books in, start reading. You want to read about rules, all kinds of style, understanding the different kind of styles, you know, the different kind of approach and the eras in RPG. You have the 70s, you have the 80s, you have the 90s, you have the early 2000s, then you have the 2010 and beyond. Now, once you start to understand about that, you go online and you go read about the Forge. You go on the Forge. The Forge is that forum thing where in the early 2000s they had some big discussions, and there's a revolution in RPG that happened on that forum. It's an historical event. You go there, you read that, and this is so this is where you're gonna build some vocabulary to understand game design and understand game theory. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. Doesn't matter. It's not about that. If you want to go if you want to go beyond, if you want to improve your RPG experience and start to eat the right food, you know, and take care of your diet in terms of a gamer, this is what I did. And once you start to get interested in all that, then you go to a convention. This is where I personally, this is where I exploded. I went to PAX East with Emergent Play a couple of years ago, 2014, 2013, something like that. Damn, time goes by. You go to a convention, you spend 2 or 3 days there, and you talk to designers, you talk to other gamers, and you try games. And go there a little bit knowledgeable. Once you start to know the vocabulary and shit, you go there and you have these insightful conversations because people know, because you have the vocabulary to reach them where they at, so they know you understand a little bit. So they're not afraid to open up and talk about the real deal with you, because if you go there and you're too neophyte, let's say you're too noob, people will see you're noob and they're not gonna go too deep, and it's gonna stay superficial, right? But if you go there and they feel that you know a little bit, and they see that you have the fire, they will open up to you. The game designer will respect you a little bit more. Like they will be, oh, he knows about that, so let's talk about the real thing. And it's just normal. It's in everything. You know, when you meet someone and you see that this person is too noob into something, you don't go deep right away because it's too far of a gap, right? So before going to the convention, do your homework a little bit. Read the Forge, read games, play more, watch some videos and stuff. It's not much about gaming. It's not much about playtesting now, because playtesting and gaming is too hard. It's too hard to find groups to do that. It's a really lonely work thing, and it's about studying and reading. So, and then you have podcasts. I strongly recommend Tabletop Superhighway, which is the Emergent Play podcast. It does a really good job of teaching you about game design and game theory. And then another thing I did that was just amazing is interviews with game designer. You like a game designer? Go watch interviews with game designers. So any game designer you like, Paul Zega, Vincent Baker, Luke Crane, Joshua Newman, any guy, any guy you like, you listen to their interviews and they talk about their process of game design and what happened in their mind, the reason why they did it, XYZ, and it helps you understand. It helps you understand the process. So it's not about designing game. FaunTrodden wanted me to talk about how you go from just being a gamer who have fun to someone who actually understands game. And this is, so there's no magical recipe. It's studying. That's the reason why I had some issue with this video. I was like, what do you want me to tell you? Yeah, you gotta study, you gotta read, you gotta ask yourself questions. You know, it's like anything. But this is the information. People go on the internet now, they Google and shit. So what you have to do is you know, start with some vlogs, start with some podcasts, build up the game theory semantic field, and then once this is well warm up, start reading the games. But you know, you need to fire that interest where you start to love rules. If you are the guy you want to avoid rules and play rule light game and house rule shit, it's not the right attitude. Game theory is about rules. You know, if you prefer setting over rules, you like the aesthetic, you like the fluff, you don't like the mechanics. So it's not the same, you know. So anyway, this is my story. This is what I did. I started to watch some vlogs, then I started to listen to some podcasts, then I played some games that attract my attention in the indie community. Then I went on the fort, then I went to PAX, then I started listening to a lot of interviews and played and started to play different games and read different games, and then I started to vlog about game theory, and then I started to trying to design stuff. And then I realized the reason why it's so hard is because you can't play test, because nobody have time. So, and this is the reason, you know, this is my story basically with it, and this is how I recommend. This is what I recommend to anybody who wants to start to understand more about game theory and game design in RPG. All right, thank you for watching. Talk to you guys soon.